Welcome to End of the Bench. I'm Jesse Valdez, and today is National Fairy Tale Day. David, you like fairy tales or what?
Hi, I'm David Vito. And fairy tales? We talking about fairy tales. I just hope we have a good show today. End of the Bench starts now.
Follow us on Twitter at MCCEOTB. Grab a copy of The Globe featuring our sports writer, David Vito, and listen to us live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. on Radio SLCC for EOTB Uncut, where we bring you the content that can't make the TV show. Because ESPN wasn't hiring, welcome your co-hosts, Jesse Valdez and David Vito.
You hear that?
Yeah, I kind of heard that, but...
What did he say? We're not better than ESPN?
Oh, well, let's not get into that. Anyways, what were you wearing, man? That kind of looked good.
Jesse, don't change the subject. We got a show to do today, okay? Jeez, whatever I had on, it's gone. But Jesse, we have another great show as we sat down with the director of one of the biggest Sundance movies this year that was right here at South City campus, which had the people of Utah buzzing, but not only them, a few big celebrities were talking about this film, In Football We Trust. You do not want to miss that exclusive interview coming up later today on End of the Bench. You know, I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, it is exciting, but first, David, let's get started with things off and let's talk some SLCC basketball and how they're doing as they played their final games in Bruins Arena this year.
The final games have came to an end. The Lady Bruins had their 12-game winning streak snapped in a 78-75 loss to Southern Idaho. But despite the loss, the Lady Bruins bounced back and defeated Northern Idaho 62-53 as they ended the regular season with a 25-5 record as they captured the regular season title as SWAC champions.
As for the men's team, they ended the season on a winning note as the Bruins edged Northern Idaho 82-78. They finished the regular season off with the 6 straight wins and finished the season with a record of 25-5. Now both Bruins teams will look to bring home the SWAC Conference Championship. Good luck to both of the men's and women's basketball team in the conference tournament as they look to bring home the championship back to SLCC.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the opportunity for the men's and women's basketball team to bring home another conference championship. But Jesse, as the basketball season has came to an end here at Bruins Arena, the football season is up and running as they are looking for support every Saturday at Heartland Elementary. Now our next guest, he knows a thing or two about football as well. Again, he made his debut right here at Sundance at South City campus. And now he's making his debut with us on End of the Bench.
They brought us from the islands to America to make a better living for our families. And football just happens to be the best way for us to do that.
Football We Trust, a big movie just hit Sundance here, right here at South City. I want to know, what was your vision of making this film happen, and what was the process of getting it here to Sundance?
I grew up in the same community as a lot of the boys that we end up shooting in the film for the last 5 years. I had a younger uncle though that had, was our NFL hopeful, was the next Junior Seau at the time. His life took a turn for the worst, and he ended up going to prison for about 10 years. So that has been a story that has stuck with me, and a story that I wanted to eventually tell. We ended up finding our subjects who, one of them being from Bingham High School, Harvey Lange. We had the Bloomfields from Hunter High School and Fihi Kafusi from Highland High School that we ended up shooting for the last 5 years. We got through the 5-year process, submitted into Sundance, and it's been great, and a great way to somewhat end and begin the journey.
You said it was a 5-year process. Kind of tell me about the relationship you had with the players from all the high schools, and tell me what was the first intention of the first year compared to the final year?
That's a good question. The first year, we find these kids. I introduced myself to some of the families. I started with one other family that didn't end up making it on the film, so that's one thing that changed. Another thing that changed is I thought I was going to shoot this film in 2 years, and it took 5. Yeah. First time I've ever directed a feature-length doc. So a lot of things changed as I learned. I definitely learned how to use a camera a lot better than I knew how to use before. My relationship with the families grew. None of us are family, but we're all like family now, and it's just been a great process that way, and a learning experience.
The relationship you built with these kids over the 5-year span, though, what was their reaction of getting the news about going to Sundance?
This is kind of a first time for all of us, so they're excited, but I'm not sure they really knew, how big a deal it was. I think them being from Utah, though, knowing that Sundance is in Park City and it's all about celebrities, definitely got them excited that they were able to be a part of that, and not only be a part of it, but be a little bit of celebrities themselves. So it's truly an honor for me. I grew up just, a couple blocks away from where we ended up premiering, in the same building where we premiered. I used to ride my skateboard up and down and get kicked out by janitors, so it's really, really personal for me. It's a huge honor. Sundance to me has always been a little bit of an untouchable place, that it was dreamland of celebrities and things that you watch on your own television. So to be one of those films that's premiered up there, and getting the attention from and having that platform from other filmmakers and other actors, seeing that those films was a huge honor, and I'm fortunate.
What was the process of picking these players and those high schools?
Harvey Longy, who was in the film, he went to Bingham High School and had really early attention in the media his sophomore and junior year, so that was a quick attraction to him. The Bloomfields in our movie deal with a lot of the gang affiliation, and their father, amongst the Polynesian community, it's really small, so I had known of their father, and to know that he had kids that were in high school dealing with the same issues that he had dealt with early on, they were a natural pick. Fihi Kafusi came along a little bit later in the film amongst our choices, because he added a missing piece that we had, which was a lot of the culture from the islands and coming here to America. So that was kind of the process on how we had come about them.
Was there any time during the production or filming when you're thinking that, there's a lot of things that you want that you're filmed that you said, I just can't put in the actual film here at Sundance?
We followed these boys for 5 years. It was difficult to find out where we wanted to stop, because it was like, where do we stop? Do we stop with them in college? Do we wait till they go to the NFL? We definitely wanted to go further than where the film ended, but it made sense to end it their last year or their first year in college versus following them through college. So we had to stop somewhere.
You reached out to a lot of players. You said Polamalu was one of the big names. What did it mean for you to sit down with some of the big name players that made it to the NFL that had the chance and opportunity to be a part of this film?
So Troy Polamalu came on a lot later, and yes, it was a huge milestone for me to meet Troy Polamalu and have him be a part of the film. Some of our first players that come on board really early were Haloti Ngata from the Baltimore Ravens, and Vaisi Kahema, who is, the first Tongan NFL player to be in the NFL. They saw the vision early, believed in what I could do as a filmmaker, and believed in my vision. And I was fortunate to have them come on early and, you know, really believe in this, because it helped launch this story forward and helped really create some groundwork and some narrative to what I was looking to create within our subjects. A mentor of mine is Jared Hess, who had directed Napoleon Dynamite and Nacho Libre. He was a huge mentor for me. He has really loved this story from the beginning, really helped mold me as a filmmaker and support the story. When he watched the film, he said he was in tears. He said for 2 reasons. 1, because it's a great film. He goes, but 2, because I'm so proud of you, Tony, for, you know, getting this done. Right before the premiere, The Rock calls me and says, this is my story. I went through this as a football player, and then I moved on to wrestling, and I did other things. He said, but this is the story that no one knows about me. He said, this is what a lot of our culture is going through, him being Samoan. And he was really excited to come on and be involved in it. He watched the movie and said he was in tears, especially The Rock being from the culture and having succeeded in his career already. Definitely has inspired me to make other films, and I just know the importance of, you know, with this being me being the first Tongan director at Sundance and really creating a voice for our cultures, it definitely stresses the importance of committing to more stories and, you know, and continuing to tell stories within our culture of voice. And so the struggles in making the film, I think, 1, it was a longer process than I expected, and we did it on no budget. As we got through to the end of the film, telling 4 stories within 90 minutes and cutting down 600 hours of footage was definitely really, really challenging. We didn't want to cut any of our subjects out and wanted to tell a completely well-rounded story, and so we stuck to our guns and took our time and made sure that we were in post-production for a month and a half doing that. So it worked out. As far as the specific stories with all of our subjects, I think what the takeaway is, you know, that football should definitely be used as a vehicle and can be used as a vehicle as long as you're the driver, right? You know, it should create other options and not be the only option.
Is there anything else I might have missed out that you would like to tell all of our viewers today on End of the Bench?
No. I mean, these are all great questions, and I'm happy to, you know, be here doing the interview and you know, a place that I kind of began my passion. You know, it was the first time I did my electives here in acting and some filmmaking, and found my passion for film.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Make your own history.
What an outstanding story Tony had about the film and Football We Trust. David, what did you like about the interview with Tony?
I'm going to tell you a lot of things I liked about the interview with Tony. One of them was the hours of hard work he put in following these young kids and following them to their college careers, for most of them. But then he found out a way to stop it at a perfect time, and that's what he told us when we sat down and talked with him too. And a lot of things he said about the celebrities reaching out to him, like The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, or people might know him as now. If you're a wrestling fan, you might know him as The Rock. But sitting down and getting a phone call from him and The Rock telling him his story, pretty outstanding.
Oh yeah, that's really outstanding. Like, I mean, get to meet The Rock, man.
But it's cool. Of all time.
It's cool because these guys are local players here in Utah. They've gone. Some of us gone to high school with them. I went to Hunter High, and some of the players were from Hunter. So it was really cool to see that they followed these players through thick and thin. It wasn't all uphill and downhill. It was a curvy road. So I mean, it was cool to be able to get these players' stories and kind of reflect on it. So it was an awesome interview that we had with Tony.
How about the things that, you know, the players they had? They're all from Utah. Tony's from Utah. Right here, he did his generals for SLCC Community College and did some film classes here. Pretty neat and a great opportunity. We had a chance to sit down with him.
Well, let's move into our new segment called On the Line, where I place David Vito into the hot seat and see if he can answer these questions correctly. Let's put 60 seconds on the clock.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's begin now. Pac-Man versus Floyd Money Mayweather.
They're going to fight, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be May 5th. And if I recall the last episode, I said, Mayweather, Pacquiao, get in the ring and fight right now.
I don't think I heard that, but okay, we'll go with it.
We're not checking the film.
NFL draft first pick.
Mariota or Winston's the two names coming out. Mariota coming out of Oregon, Winston out of Florida State. The Bucs are on the clock with the #1 pick. I think they take Winston, #1 overall. He's more NFL ready.
Awesome. All right, Derrick Rose and his injury. What are you thinking?
Terrible, terrible news. It's third straight year he goes down with an injury. Back-to-back years with the same torn meniscus in his right knee. They're calling him the next Brandon Roy. Hopefully we get to see him back one more time on the NBA hardwood.
Okay, next question. SLCC men's and women's basketball. What are you thinking about them?
I'm going to predict they both come home, and I mean home, to Solid Community College with SWAC Conference Championship champions. I guess you could say it like that.
All right, and you know what? I guess we just ended right on time right there.
Pretty good, man. But you know what, Jesse? I'm burned out by those questions you asked. And after that, this is the perfect time for us to end today's show of Into the Bench. Make sure you check us out on vimeo.com/SLCC Voices. And if you got cable, watch us on Channel 17 on SLCC TV. As we end today's shows, one of the greatest sportscasters of all time, in Stuart Scott, said it best. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get the heck up out of here. Until next time, I'm David Vito.
And I'm Jesse Valdez. Thanks for watching the all-new and revamped End of the Bench.